We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. You are welcome to from wherever you are connecting. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, the growth of the mind and clarity. As the mind grows, the more as the mind grows, we come to know that nature of the mind is confusion. But there is another aspect of it. The more the mind grows, you come to realize that mind it can lead, and it does lead to clarity. The growth of the mind leads to clarity, because only when you have a very mature mind, you will become aware that you are confused. Even to become aware that mind is confusion, a very developed mind is needed. Those who are not aware that mind is confusion are not indeed mature minds. They are childish in their nature, juvenile, and still developing. Only a mature mind can become aware of the quality of the mind, can be aware of the quality of the mind, that it is confusion. And when you have developed the mind, only then meditation becomes the possible. The growth of the mind means it is like the chick is growing within the eggshell. The eggshell is being hatched, the chick is growing within, and it reaches to a point where it cannot remain within the eggshell. The shell breaks and the young one comes out of the eggshell. The same thing, the mind is growing and it reaches to a point where it cannot remain within the narrow boundaries of the mind. It breaks the shackles and comes out. And only then that state is the state of no mind. And this is the beginning of the meditation. But how can you achieve this state of no mind if you have not achieved a mind? So achieve a mind just to lose it. The egg is hatched, and when it is in the process of hatching, it reaches to the point where it will lose the shell and come out. And don't think that if ultimately one has to reach to the state of no mind, then what is the use of achieving the mind? What is the use of the egg to be hatched? You are not seeing what is growing within the egg. This is hidden. And the moment egg grows, the size of the egg does not change. Only inside the young one is growing and growing, attaining the maturity that it can survive outside the eggshell. In the beginning, it cannot survive outside the eggshell. So, Unless the mind grows, you cannot break the shell and come out of that. So the two things are important, and don't think that if ultimately one has to reach the state of no mind, means beyond the mind, break open the shell of the mind, then what is the use of achieving the mind? Because if you do not achieve the mind, the ultimate is not going to happen to you. It can happen only if the mind is there. So I am not against, and no awakened one is against the mind. He is against the intellect. Really, awakened one is not against anything. He is for everything, because everything can be used to reach the opposite pole. There is a polarity, and the opposite pole cannot be reached if the polarity is not there. If the other pole is not there, the polarity cannot be reached. A madman cannot meditate because he is below the mind. There is no mind. He has no mind. But this no mind is different, is not the no mind of a Buddha. No mind has two dimensions, one below the mind and the other above the mind. In case of a Buddha, his no mind is above the mind, and in case of a madman, the state of no mind is below the mind. These are the two dimensions, one below and the other above. The above is also no mind, and the below is also no mind. You can fall down from the mind is not there, but it will not lead you to the state of meditation. You have to go beyond the mind. Only then there is Buddha's no mind achieved. And always remember it, because they are so similar that you can misunderstand the whole situation. They are not similar. One is below the mind and the other is the above. For example, a child is innocent. A saint is also innocent. A Jesus or a Krishna, but their innocence is not childish. It is childlike, not childish, because a child is innocent only because he is ignorant. He is innocent only in a negative way. He is innocent as a negative thing, just absence. Sooner or later, everything will erupt. He is a volcano waiting to erupt. Innocence is just the silence before the volcano erupts. A saint is one who has gone beyond the mind. The eruption has happened already. And one is silence before the eruption, the other is silence after the eruption. In case of Buddha, his state is the silence after the eruption. The silence was just On the surface, deep down, the child was getting ready to be disturbed. The saint has passed the state of disturbance. Now nothing can disturb him. The cyclone is gone. The silence, the innocence appears similar, but there is a deep difference. The silence of a child, the innocence of a child, and the innocence of an awakened one. So sometimes an idiot can also appear to be saint-like, and idiots are saint-like. They are not cunning. To be cunning, intelligence is needed. They are not calculating, because to be calculating, mind is needed. Idiots are simple, innocent, non-cunning, non-calculating. They cannot deceive anyone. Not that they would like to, but they cannot. The very capacity is not there. They look like saints, therefore, and sometimes a saint, a mystic, a master looks like the idiot, because the same thing has happened again in a different, altogether different manner. Altogether different manner. You can fall down below the mind, then too no mind happens, but it cannot be meditation. It is not meditation. You have simply lost even that mind which was going to become a step towards meditation. When you transcend the mind, transcending the mind leads to meditation. Transcendence beyond the mind leads you to the state of no mind. It is the state after the volcano, the cyclone has subsided. All disturbance is gone. No disturbance is capable of disturbing you. So I am not against the mind. Develop the mind, develop intellect, but remember very well that it is just a stepping stone. Developing of the child, as I said, the young one continues to grow inside the egg. The shape, the size of the egg does not become big or small. The inner has grown to such proportion that it cannot remain contained within the eggshell. So therefore, because of that inner growth, the eggshell breaks. In the same way, your inner capabilities are increasing to such proportion that all of a sudden the outer layer of the mind breaks and you attain to the state of no mind. You reach the other shore, you leave the boat, you forget everything about the boat and the shore that you have left completely. Then mind becomes a tool, not the master. You can use it to form the sentences, to do everything, and that is what is important. The growth of the mind to such an extent that it breaks open the outer shell and attains to the state of no mind. That is the beginning of meditation. Only this much for this morning.